Welcome back, everyone. Another YouTube video. Today is July 7th, and it's Monday. So we're off to a. Actually, what I'll do is I'll talk a little bit more about it. Good, bad. Talk about the good and the bad after I hit you guys with the quote by Mark Douglas. First, we'll start it off with I want to say getting into the flow. So getting into the flow of the market. Getting into the flow of the market, and this is going to be a perfect quote for that. He says he says the way to take maximum advantage of a situation where you are being offered unlimited opportunities to do something for yourself is to get into the flow. So getting into the flow is almost like playing, like when you were younger and you'd play like jump rope, like double dutch, and like you try to get in the middle without getting hit by the ropes. If there's a flow in the market, and sometimes you might fail doing, jumping into the double dutch ropes with your friends, and there's also times where you may not get hit. um so yeah, there are flows in the market. I call them order flow, and it helps me understand from higher time frame to lower time frame on when I should probably get in, so that we should start moving into the right direction, or the moving into the direction that I personally think um the market is potentially going to be moving ultimately. So yeah, that's the quote of the day. It's based on flow. And if you want to wrap order flow around that quote, that would be it's a perfect time to use order flow for the word flow. So yeah, update on this week though. Actually not looking good, but it could be worse. It could always be worse. Here I have actually posted it on my Instagram account. Here, let me pull that up. Here are Pause it right here. Here's my losses so far for this week. As you can see, negative 87 and negative 63. So negative 87 is on the USD CAD trade, and then negative 63 is on US 30. I did the USD CAD trade yesterday, which was Sunday, and I think I took that Sunday. And then I definitely took the US 30 trade Monday, which is today. So it's not bad. Risked 5% on both of them as I normally do, no matter if it's an A plus plus setup or a C plus setup. I only risk 5% from at this point that I'm at right now. I'll work on implementing higher, like raising the risk on A plus plus setups in the future. But as of right now, I'm only looking at risking 5%. So this though, what you see here is what eight or 612. Yeah, so that's, I think, even including like commissions. This is on my second account. So if you guys have been watching and following along from my other videos, then you know that this is my other account. My second account has more equity in it. Right now it's sitting at 1342. I started the week off at around 1500 with that account. And so far for this week on that account, based on these two trades that I lost, I'm down $149.69 for this week. So it's not terrible. The first account, which is going to be the account that I'm scaling from 160 to 1,000, I've lost about $28.37 this week so far, and it's only Monday. So both accounts are negative. I take the same exact trades on both accounts, and I also disclose the trade ideas that I have in my community via Discord. So the link is in the bio if you guys are open to seeing what kind of trades I'm taking on a day I don't want to say daily but weekly basis just because I'm not really one to trade every day on unless I have the opportunity to multiply the account obviously, which they're swing trades. They're not just, looking at the 1 minute time frame or 2 minute time frame. I'm looking at the bigger picture ultimately. So if you guys remember from the previous video, you would have seen that a lot of I probably had about 15 different pairs green, but since the week started, there's been a lot of there's been a lot of trades that played out. Probably like 10 or 12 actually. There's been a lot of trades that played out, such as this CAD JPY trade that played out. It would have given us about a 1 to 4, which I would have definitely taken, but it happened around 4 o'clock, and I mean it could have still been done. All I had really had to do was I blame this one on myself. All I really had to do was set an order limit and price would have activated me into the trade. But unfortunately, I did not just wasn't up for that. I had woken up, fell back asleep. This one played without us. So the JPY pairs that we were looking at this week, they all played without us. Um, what else played without us? Uh, NZD JPY. Wasn't looking at that. NZD USD. NZD USD. Last week I was in here from up top here, and I mean, if I had held, would have definitely been in profit. The main reason why I didn't want to hold was because one, I wanted to close the week off with profits, right, in the, account balance. Um, Also, it was an external to internal trade. So what I mean by that is the bigger picture is if we look at the daily time frame, we'll see that this is the low and this is the high. So if we're in an uptrend, then in order for us to, if let's say we were taking a trade in this area, which is what I did last week, to sell into an area of interest, this would be external to internal. But if we want to trade from internal to external, we'd have to get a trade somewhere in this area in order to push price up to create a new high and take out this high right here because there should be money sitting above here. Now, that's something that I'm looking out for this week, but this week is most likely going to be a retracement week just because we've got our entry this week or previous week, entry was here and then it started trickling down. It didn't fully trickle down into our area of interest, which means that we should probably get a retracement into our area of interest this week. And then next week, we could potentially see price pushing up. So it's almost like you leave 1 week for accumulation, 1 week for manipulation, 1 week for distribution, and then 1 week for reversal or continuation. And then it just recycles. So it just keeps on recycling. Then you have Euro USD, which also I entered and then I exited because I was in multiple different USD pairs at once, and then AUD NZD. I just haven't been participating in because it just doesn't look the best personally. Now for my green pairs, which are awaiting entry, I'm looking for an entry somewhere in this area right here. If you trade ICT, then you're probably looking at this breaker right here. I personally am not really too interested in like the whole ICT thing, but I just think, market structure, imbalance. I mean, I guess those stuff combined, together, they just all make sense in the way that I personally trade. I kind of took what I liked from all good traders, no matter if it's people who are, you know, supply and demand, or even uh ICT traders, SMC, SMT, all of that stuff. I just pretty much took everything that was good out of each of those, and just put it in my own strategy based on the way that I trade. So since I'm looking for market structure shift potentially on either 15 or 30-minute time frame within this area right here, another reason why I'm looking at that area is because if we look to the left, you can see price when it comes to that area, it kind of looks indecisive, or it just looks like there's a lot of orders that sit in this area of interest right here, which is typically anywhere between 44,500 and about, I'd say about 44,700. Like price lingers there. So once we get some type of maybe 15-minute reaction to possibly go bearish, so come up here, in order for it to go bearish, it'll have to go bullish and then go back to being bearish. So once it goes back to being bearish, I'll look to target 50% of the daily's range. This is the daily's range. So I would be looking for something like this, but this can even be possibly smaller just depending on the 15-minute time frames, highs and lows. Next, you have USD CAD, and obviously USD is definitely bullish. So I'm not sure if we're gonna get a retracement from where price is at to the 50% of this area. There's a possibility that it just grabbed, it took people out here and then just started pushing up. That could have been the higher low. I was hoping that wasn't going to be the higher low because I wanted price to get, go further down, but you know, um, is what it is. XAU, USD. So gold, I'm looking for price to retrace, and right now we can see that price could potentially be on its way to our area of interest. And once we get an area of interest hit, whether it's here or here, and then we get a small move of price going bearish, maybe on the 15 or 30-minute time frame, possibly even the 1 hour time frame, that'll help me understand whether it makes sense for me to sell from this area or not. And then after that, we've also got GBP CAD. So GBP CAD, we've got 4 hour bearish. Now, with 4 hour being bearish, daily's bullish. So if daily's bullish, 4 hours bearish, we would want to stick with the 4 hour time frame just because I don't want to really say it's more reliable, but before price goes bullish on the daily time frame, the 4 hour would have to be bullish. So there's a chance that we might get price to push down even further than where we've stopped right here on Thursday, last Thursday. And which this would mean that I'm looking for sells on GBP CAD. For GBP USD, I'm still waiting for price to push up around here, and then if I can get an entry right there, that could give us a 1 to 6. And then for NAS, I'm looking for some type of 15, 30-minute time frame, bullish market structure, but we have to get price to fill in these imbalances, these buy side imbalances, in order for us to consider, or in order for me to consider buying this market. GBP NZD, I'm really looking for price to go bearish, but prices has not been wanting to go bearish for some reason. Let me see. This is a 15-minute time frame. The low for this is 26705. This is 26840. So there's a possibility that price might just take out this high right here, maybe even close above. If it does close above, I mean, that would kind of be good, but also not really good because I just don't want price to continue going up. There is a possibility that we can get a good risk to reward in this area right here. So this might be the trade of the week. A lot of times I'll have the trade of the week. And this is where we have GBP AUD. So for GBP AUD, we could get price to could possibly get price to also shift bearish, but we've got to wait for this as well. I prefer GBP NZD over GBP AUD because it gives us a better risk to reward. And that's pretty much all of the pairs that I'm potentially going to enter for this week. I'm just waiting to see what the market presents. If you guys want, I can actually can just show you guys. If you guys don't already, this is my Instagram. It's charts and checks. So I might be branding my trading business around charts and checks. So if you guys don't already follow me, then follow charts and checks. And then TradeZilla account, we're gonna be able to look at both. So firstly, we're gonna look at net P&L for the second account. So the second account has a net P&L of $277. Not bad. Again, started at nine, like around 975, somewhere around there. Um, I mean, it's not terrible, right? And even before I loaded 975, I was already down like negative 80 on this account. So that's why it says net P&L 277. I wasn't using this count for a month after May. But yeah, swap fees got me at 97. Swap fees got me at 75 on top of this other trade right here that I entered and then exited just because I miss I like misinterpreted the GBP NZD sell that I called out, and then immediately once I came out, I updated the community about it as well. So in the Discord, so I'm making sure that I'm also doing my due diligence to make sure we're getting some live feedback in the community. So providing as much value and as updated as possible without leaving any stone unturned. Then we've got this other account right here. This is going to be the 160 to $1,000 account. As you can see, I've been negative for this week and we should be able to bounce back. I'm not too worried about how this week has gone so far. So, but only thing that I can do to help with bringing this account back up since this week started and close out with a positive week is going to be to focus on these, like, I think the A plus plus setups are going to be the ones with the most amount of risk for the least amount of risk, highest amount of reward, which is maintaining the same 5% for X amount of reward. And that's typically, I would say A plus plus is probably, I want to say 1 to 5, because like 1 to 3 and 1 to 4 is kind of average for my trades. Then I think A plus plus is probably like 1 to 5, and then A plus 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 is probably 1 to 10 and up, or 1 to 9 and up. Because 1 to 9 is still good. 1 to 9 is definitely good. But yeah. that is pretty much what where we're at for this week. So let me know what you guys want to see more of. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys think about that quote about flow. Um, and let me know what you guys oh, again, the Discord. Join the free community. It's free, so I'm giving out free value in the Discord. The link's in the bio. And thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys had an incredible July 4th. And I'll see you guys in the next video. I was just, wanting to stop by on Monday, update you guys on how it's going. And I appreciate you guys for following along. See you guys next video.